All right, so this is being recorded now. Welcome. I'm Raina Franco. A registered dietitian nutritionist at Ogilvy, and I'm happy to be here to talk about gut health. There's just a disclaimer. So first of all, everybody's going to be able, we'll get these slides, we'll get the recording. So if for some reason you have to leave in the middle, don't feel, you'll be getting all the information here. And if for those who could not attend, they'll also be receiving this. So what are we going to learn? Today, we're going to learn about what is the gut microbiome. We're going to learn about dysbiosis. So that's another new word. We're going to learn how to feed our gut and keep our gut healthy. So what does this mean, microbiome? We hear it, this word, the term quite often. Well, first of all, our body has all this bacteria. It's 100 trillion microbial cells. And these are primarily bacteria that's in the gut. And we call that the gut microbiota. And the microbiome is the genetic material of all those microbes that live on and inside the human body. So most of this gut microbiome is in our large intestine. So what we have to learn about is, we hear about good bacteria, bad bacteria. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what that means and why the balance is really important to us. So what does our microbiome do? Well, first of all, it's really important for us to have positive balance, good balance, because our microbiome impacts our health in a lot of different ways. It contributes to metabolic functions, it protects our body against pathogens, impacts our immune system, and in many ways impacts a lot of the functions of our entire body. Now, if we have an imbalance, quite often a person might have some chronic GI issues, such as irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, leaky gut, or small intestine bacterial overgrowth. Now this is, oh, I'm so sorry. That's so weird. That was from, let me see if I can turn that off. There we go. So that was from a prior recording. Dysbiosis. So obviously this is where you have the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. So we have good bacteria, and those are primarily, we have our firmicutes, which are good, and the bacteroidetes, which are bad. So when you have an imbalance of the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, that's when we have issues. And quite often when we have dysbiosis, which is that imbalance, that's when we have issues that impact our GI health, or maybe obesity, autoimmune disorders, even diabetes, chronic diseases. It's all impacted by this good versus bad bacteria. Other things that impact our microbiome or our gut health is how we eat, obviously the food we put in our body, how much we drink, so 1 drink versus 5 drinks, exercise, movement, being active, stress, obesity, illness, our age, genetics, the way we were delivered at birth. So if we had a vaginal birth versus a C-section, so vaginal birth is more protective than a C-section. The method of infant feeding, so breastfed children have a healthier microbiome than those who are not breastfed. And also the length of time that the child's breastfed also impacts their gut microbiome, and also the use of medications, so in particular antibiotics. So we quite often hear, if you take an antibiotic, when you're done with that, eat some yogurt. We hear about, oh, eating yogurt after having medications might help, as long as that yogurt has probiotics in it. Now, oops, oh, I am sorry. So symptoms that you might find with dysbiosis is, acute, meaning these are things that don't happen for a long period of time, but you might feel tired. You might have diarrhea, or maybe even constipation. You might get headaches. You might get sick often. but there are chronic symptoms. So it could contribute to colon or liver cancer, diabetes, celiac disease, arthritis, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. So we really need to keep our gut healthy. So we see here, there is, in this picture, you have your healthy gut versus a leaky gut. So you might have heard about leaky gut. So this is when our gut, the permeability of our gut is reduced, meaning that our intestinal walls get weak and toxins and other unwanted bacteria could get into our blood, and that causes leaky gut. We want to keep our gut healthy, to keep those walls strong. So that's why it's really important for us to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables and high fiber foods. So these types of foods increase short chain fatty acids, and short chain fatty acids reduce inflammation. So think about that as we go forward to about what we need to eat in order to have a healthy gut. So feeding our gut, feeding our microbiome. So there's a lot of studies out there. A big one is fiber. So a diet rich in fiber increases the good bacteria versus diet low in fiber has been shown to reduce the good bacteria. So you want to make sure you eat plenty of fruits and vegetables, nuts and grains, beans, legumes. These are our high fiber foods that will ensure that we have enough fiber in our guts. Fat also is a problem. So a high fat diet has shown to decrease good bacteria, specifically the bacteroidetes, and also increase the bad bacteria. So it's really important to ensure not to have a high fat diet. Studies have also associated with the bad bacteria with obesity and the good bacteria with weight loss. So, and also there's research on mice that found that when somebody switched right from a fiber and antioxidant rich diet to a standard American diet, what we call the Western diet, that's full of fat and protein, it then negatively impacts the microbiome. So again, so you might start with a really good diet and then go to something bad, and that too will be an issue. The opposite is if you go from something bad, a bad diet, to a healthy diet, you're going to improve your gut. So here you see fiber-rich foods. And what you want to do is you want to aim for a minimum of 25 to 38 grams of fiber a day. The more, the better. So as I mentioned, high fiber foods are fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, legumes, nuts, and seeds. So examples are a tablespoon of chia seeds is 5 grams of fiber. So that's really simple. You know, in the morning, let's say you have oatmeal or you have cereal, sprinkle some chia seeds on it, or flax seeds, or hemp seeds. If you have a salad, maybe you want to put some pumpkin seeds on it. You know, it's pumpkin season. So think about that. Just putting a tablespoon of seeds on your food is going to increase fiber. Having an apple or any other fruit, but an apple's 4 grams of fiber. So not only does an apple contain a lot of fiber, but it also contains a lot of phytonutrients that improve our immune system. So we're heading into flu season. So we want to make sure we boost our immune system. You know, rates of COVID are going up. We want to boost our immune system. So eating fiber, eating fruits, eating things like apples is going to do all that for you. A half cup of beans, 6 grams of fiber. A full cup, imagine that, that'd be 12 grams. So there's so many nice, easy ways to get that fiber in. Oops. There we go. Another thing we could do is we could consume probiotics. Pro means good. So probiotics are good bacteria that is very similar to the bacteria that's in our gut, or even the same. So we could find probiotics in yogurt. So if you buy yogurt, make sure that it contains a probiotic such as L-acidophilus, S. thermophilus, or L. bulgaricus. And those are just 3 of many different types of probiotics. There's just so many out there. Some cheeses, whoops, contain probiotics. Then there are some dairy products like lactobacillus milk and kefir, which contain probiotics. Fermented food, such as sauerkraut and kimchi, are great sources of probiotics. If you buy sauerkraut, try to buy the organic type that doesn't have a lot of additives in it or salt. You could drink something like kombucha. That's really tasty. And there are also probiotic supplements. So if you decide to take a supplement, as I mentioned, there's a lot of different types of probiotics. And depending upon why you're taking that probiotic, you might want a specific type of probiotic. So there's some probiotics that are really good for people who have diarrhea. Other ones that are good for somebody who has constipation. Some that might be good for weight loss. So as I mentioned, there's a lot of reasons why a person might want to take a probiotic, and you want to match that probiotic with your need. So if you have any questions about that, I highly suggest getting in touch with me, and I could help you find the appropriate probiotic supplement for your need. So definitely it's, probiotics are great. The best way to get it is in food, and many times we might want to take a supplement. Then you might have heard of prebiotics. So prebiotics are the non-digestible part of foods. That's your fiber. And we keep talking about fiber. That word keeps coming up. So we find prebiotics in all foods of fiber. There are some that are really highly rich in the prebiotics. That's bananas, onions, garlic, Jerusalem artichoke, the skin of apples. So here we go again. Fiber, apples, chicory root, beans. So all these foods, great source of fiber, also great sources of prebiotic fiber. So what happens is we consume it, and it goes through our small intestine. The prebiotic fiber is not digested, and then it's fermented when it reaches our large colon. And then the fermentation process feeds the beneficial bacteria in our guts. So what happens then when it's feeding the good bacteria, it then increases the number of good bacteria. So you need to feed your bacteria. That's the bottom line. And you feed it with these prebiotics. We don't really need to take a supplement for this. We could just take it, get it with good, healthy food. So when studies have found that when we consume prebiotics and increase the healthy bacteria, we then reduce our chances of risk of getting sick, and we improve our general well-being. So here is a list of prebiotic-rich foods and probiotic-rich foods. So what you might want to do here is, you'll be getting these slides. This might be a good one to just take a copy of. And when you go to the supermarket, just buy some dark leafy greens, some beans, artichokes, onions, garlic. You see all these tasty, delicious prebiotic foods. And then the probiotic foods: sauerkraut, miso, tempeh, kefir, kimchi, olives, kombucha, sourdough. Now, some of these you may not ever had before. It might be something to try. If you have questions about the particular food or how to use it, feel free to contact me. I'd be very happy to help you find ways to get these foods into your way of eating. Another thing you might have heard about are digestive enzymes. So we have natural enzymes, natural digestive enzymes in our body that help us break down nutrients and absorb nutrients. There's one called protease, which breaks down protein. Lipase breaks down fat, and amylase breaks down carbohydrates. And we could get that digestive enzymes are just found in supplements, and we could also consume them with foods like pineapple, kiwi, papaya, and ginger. Now, most of us don't have any problems with our digestive enzymes working properly, but there are some people who do lack or have issues with their digestive enzymes. And for them, I generally recommend consuming pineapple, kiwi, papaya, and ginger, or taking a digestive enzyme. Again, this is not something that I'd say, oh, run out and do it. it would, require having conversations with me or somebody, maybe, a gastrointestinal, GI doctor, gastroenterologist. Um, but this is something else that we have to think about to keep our gut and ourself healthy. So these are just, some gut-friendly snacks, some Greek yogurt with some fruit. I would definitely add some fruit to it. Some apples and peanut butter, vegetables and hummus, nuts and berries. These are just easy ways to get our gut healthy and keep our gut healthy and keep ourselves healthy. Because with a healthy gut, again, you're protecting your immune system. You're helping with your weight. You're reducing the risk of getting chronic diseases. Now, these are foods that will cause a gut imbalance, such as red meat, high-fat foods, fried foods, and highly processed foods. These are foods that you do not want in your diet. So you want to avoid these foods, or at least reduce the amount of highly processed foods you consume, animal products, fried foods, high-fat foods. And by doing that, you're improving your gut health. You're reducing the risk of having dysbiosis. And what I mean by highly processed foods is if you look at the ingredient list of a food that you get from the supermarket, and if you see a lot of ingredients in there, let's say more than 5, it's most likely highly processed. I say if the item has less than 5 ingredients, or if every ingredient in that product is whole, it's less processed. So things like oatmeal. In oatmeal, you just have 1 ingredient, that's just the oats. And then they process the oats so that you could make oatmeal cereal out of it. So that's, a low processed food. So that's okay. So the main takeaways for this is enjoy plant-based whole foods, which are high in fiber. So again, your fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, whole grains, and avoid things that are highly processed, foods that have added sweeteners, high-fat foods, and also take care of yourself. Because believe it or not, reducing stress, improving sleep, and exercise also help promote a healthy gut. So all this together, it's what's going to give you good gut health. So I am going to open this up for questions. So please, is there anybody have any questions? You can unmute yourself. Or look if there's anything in the, or you can put something in the chat box if you like. So, and if it's not a question about gut, you can ask me a question about anything you like. Completely open.
Hi, it's Nakia.
Hi.
I am sorry if I missed this. I had to move a little bit for like 5 minutes off to take a call, but I had a question about like is it probiotics?
Right.
Is that something that helps with sort of gut health, or is that something completely different?
So yes, they do. Now, probiotics help. So our body has the good bacteria. So probiotics help with the good bacteria, and there are all different types of probiotics and different strains of probiotics. So each strain is going to help something different. So I'm going to question here: what probiotics are good for weight loss? So I'd have to go back to my handy dandy research guide. So what I'll do is if anybody has a specific question about probiotics, send me an email and I will get back to you and tell you what is the best probiotic for your issue. For example, for weight loss, or if you have constipation or anything like that. And you see my emails here on the screen. So, and the question is, what's the optimal time to breastfeed to ensure a healthy gut for a baby? That's a great question. I just attended a webinar that talked about breastfeeding, and they said a year and a half is the optimal time, or more. The longer, the better. So that would be best. And that bottom line is as long as you can. I mean, some people could do it longer, some people do shorter, and don't feel bad if you can't, because some people just can't for a variety of reasons. Great questions. Any other questions? Oops. Oh, at the end of the slides, I also have a whole bunch of references. So if you want more information about any of these topics, you could go back and look at these references here. But I'm always available for everybody, and you feel free to send me emails. You can speak up now if you have a question. Put something in the chat box. All right, so I want to thank everybody for coming, and I really appreciate you being here, and hopefully I will see you at the next webinar, or I will, like I said, just send me an email. We could schedule a telehealth session, or I'll just be happy to answer your questions, and have a great day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Very helpful information. Thanks.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. Have a great day, everyone. Talk
You
to you
too.
soon.